Good evening. Well, first tonight, a 6-month-old baby girl was blown into the River Severn in her pram when it was caught by a gust of wind. 2 council workers spotted what happened, jumped into the water and saved her life. She was checked out at the Royal Shrewsbury Hospital, from where Gareth Owen sent this report.
Yeah, a really dramatic story developing here today. Earlier, a pram containing a 6-month-old baby girl was blown into the River Severn. It happened near the big weir just north of the town centre here. We understand the little girl was out for a walk with her grandmother. One can only imagine what was going through her mind as she saw the pram disappear into the river. In fact, it was her screams which alerted 3 nearby workmen to what was going on. 2 of them jumped in and pulled the little girl to the towpath. She was brought here to the Royal Shrewsbury Hospital, where I'm delighted to report they found that nothing was wrong with her, no harm had come to her. Now, we don't yet know the name of the family involved or of the workmen, but I'm joined now by Helen Ball from Shrewsbury Town Council, because it was your workmen who were the heroes, effectively, who did this, who rescued the little girl. You must be so proud of them.
Oh, we're absolutely so proud of them. They're a great bunch of lads. They do a lot for the town, and they really want to look after the town.
Have you had a chance to speak to them yet since this drama?
I have, yes. They're rather cold and rather wet, as you can imagine. A bit shocked by their escapades this morning, but they're all okay, and they've been recounting a bit of their story. They were down on the towpath doing routine grounds maintenance work, heard the lady screaming, and they turned around and the pram wasn't there. So natural instinct, 2 of them dived into the river to rescue them, and between them they got the little baby out, and glad to say that she's fit and well.
For those who don't know the town, that part of the river, you know, it's a big, deep river, isn't it? It must have been terrifying.
I think it was terrifying for them. I think it was probably such a rushed thing anyway that I don't think they ever thought about it. They just jumped in, but yeah, big river. Okay,
Helen, wish them well from us, won't you? Well, it's an incredible story. Could so easily have been here tonight talking about a real tragedy. As it is, though, thanks to the bravery of those 3 men, that little girl is at home, safe and sound.
Gareth Owen. Well, next, multi-million-pound plans to redevelop the area around Coventry Airport have been rejected by the government, in spite of local council support. Developers claim the Coventry Gateway would have created 10,000 jobs. It would have eaten into greenbelt land, though, so people who live in surrounding villages say they're delighted that they challenged business and council leaders and won. Home to what might have been. Local planning permission granted, local businesses enthusiastic, 10,000 local jobs on the cards, with a business centre, technology park, new roads and a country park surrounding Coventry Airport. But today the Communities and Local Government Secretary, Eric Pickles, said no, and that's left the developers dismayed.
The economic arguments have always been very powerful, and indeed the Secretary of State has stated that. I thought that they were powerful enough to override any objections around a partial take of Greenbelt. They clearly haven't been, and of course I'm surprised at that.
The decision centres on protecting the Greenbelt. People who live in the Warwickshire village of Bobbenhall value their rural lifestyle, even though urban Coventry is within sight. They said the development on the scale proposed for the Coventry Gateway was not on.
We were up against developers with millions of pounds, with top barristers, solicitors, consultants. We're also up against the Coventry City Council and Warwick District Council. So to have won the day at this stage is quite some achievement.
Just 24 hours earlier, the Chancellor told ITV News Central the Midlands should be a place for growth.
And we've got to get away from this economy where we put all of our bets on the City of London, 100 miles to the south. We've got to back the Midlands, back the skills here, back the people here.
Coventry's Labour MP, Geoffrey says the rejection of the Coventry Gateway is a slap in the face for the city. Both local councillors and business leaders agree.
If we are going to have economic growth, then we've got to build somewhere. And if we are saying, and I think there's a conflict in policy coming forward at the moment. So you've got a situation where they're saying we need to do economic growth, but we also need to conserve the green belt. Well, in a city such as Coventry that's completely surrounded by green belt, you can imagine you can't have both.
It really makes the case of why we need devolved responsibilities for areas like Coventry and Warwickshire. We know what's best in terms of our local economy, and it's really better that the decision is taken here rather than in London.
Warwick District Council may well seek to remove Greenbelt status from the Coventry Gateway site, but that's not going to happen overnight. And with such strength of feeling and millions of pounds invested so far, it's unlikely the plans will just go away. Well, staying with business news, more than 1,400 jobs will be created in the Midlands by Virgin Media as it expands its broadband.
I need to get stuck into this.
Well, today the Prime Minister tried his hand at manual work as he visited the company's offices in Birmingham. It was announced that Virgin Media will also increase the number of apprentices to 1,000. In total, the firm plans to create 6,000 jobs. A 91-year-old former PE teacher from Worcestershire has been jailed for 9 years for carrying out sex attacks on 15 boys. Marcus Markison from Tenbury Wells has become the oldest person to be sent to prison for the first time. He committed the crimes at Ilmington Comprehensive School in Wheely Castle from the 1950s to the 70s and at a nearby youth club. A shopkeeper next to a busy roundabout says it's only a matter of time before there's a serious accident. He's filmed a whole series of near misses as impatient motorists drive on the wrong side of the road to jump queues. Ian Davies is calling for something to be done to make the junction in Wolverhampton safer, as Keith Wilkinson explains.
Fed up with waiting in the queue, the driver in the red car decides to overtake the lot on the wrong side of the road in icy conditions. Ignoring the keep left bollard, the driver appears to be following his very own version of the highway code, pushing his way through the congested roundabout. Driving on the wrong side of the road, this car, as it reaches the roundabout, its view is blocked by a van and trailer. There could easily have been a head-on collision here. And how about this? And this? Drivers making up the rules as they go along. Ian Davies, who runs an electrical shop next to the roundabout in Wolverhampton, reckons he sees about 6 similar near misses on his CCTV every single day.
We're picking up very bad driving where people are impatient and they're going down the outside of the traffic, approaching the island on the wrong side of the road. We're picking up people driving on the pavement, cutting across the pavement for shortcuts. It's annoying other drivers. We've seen arguments on the island where two cars have come together. They haven't collided, but both drivers are angry, and mainly the one that's got the right of way having to give way to the drivers that are breaking the law. I've almost hit a vehicle on the island, and many a time we've seen vehicles approaching each other. One of the days there'll be a serious accident. If a pedestrian's crossing the road, they're going to be looking left when they get to the centre of the road, whereas they should be looking right because we've got vehicles that are approaching them from the right-hand side.
Wolverhampton City Council says it's aware of the concerns about this roundabout in Bradmore. It's restricted parking and loading here and is considering further measures to address ongoing problems caused by inconsiderate drivers breaking the law. In the meantime, it's advising people who see bad driving here to report it to the police, who are carrying out spot checks. Keith Wilkinson, ITV News.
Right, on to football. It's fair to say it's been a week of turmoil for Aston Villa and Leicester City. Sackings, non-sackings, defeats in the Premier League, relegation fears and all-round discontent from the fans. Well, on Sunday, the two sides meet in the 5th round of the FA Cup, and just to add a little extra spice to the tie, in the 2 times they've met this season already, there have been 3 red cards. For Aston Villa, first-team coach Scott Marshall will take charge, and both sets of managers have tried to put a turbulent week behind them.
Football is what it is. It's an industry in which you've got to be stay resilient and stay very much focused on the job in hand, whether you're doing well or whether results aren't going your way.
The lads are obviously disappointed the manager's gone. A lot of respect between the group and the manager to the group. So everybody's disappointed by that, and they've got to go through a little bit of a process of that.
Right, just time for our late weather update now. Here's Janelle Aldred.
What's in store for today? ITV Local Weather, sponsored by Centre Parks.
Hello, it's an unsettled weekend to come, but a fairly decent one. It will be cloudy at times with sunny spells. but there will be a fair few showers lingering on, and that's the story for tonight. Cloudy, a few showers, lows of around 4 Celsius. As we go into Saturday morning, it could be a misty and a murky start for some with a bit of brightness, and by the afternoon what we are expecting is that we'll see more in the way of sunshine. Still holding on to a couple of showers though, some of them could be heavy. We're looking at highs of 8 Celsius. As we go into Sunday, it's a fairly similar day, unsettled, highs of 8 Celsius as well. Good night.
ITV Local Weather, sponsored by Centre Parks.
That's Friday's ITV News here in the Central region. Thanks very much for your company. We're back with you again tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock, so maybe join us then if you can. Otherwise, do check out the website, itv.com/central. Hope you have a really nice weekend. Good night.